Episode 49.
Hello, episode 49.
I wanted to go for a hello, darkness, my old friend. You know that? Then I was like, that seemed, I don't know.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
They made, yeah. It's a
Paul
beautiful, it's a
Simon and
beautiful
Garfunkel.
song.
Lovely. It is.
It's a beautiful song.
As always, we have some exciting news. Where are we, Scott?
We're in Grimsthorpe.
But that's not the exciting bit, though. Well, I suppose it's part of the exciting bit and why we're here and what we're doing here. But where are we physically currently right now?
Oh, right. Well, we're in the trailer within Grimsthorpe.
Oh,
yeah.
We are in Trailer Swift.
Trailer Swift.
That is the name that I've given to the trailer.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, on this trailer site, we've been put in position 13, which anyone who likes Taylor Swift knows that her lucky number is 13. So that
strange,
is
strange, isn't it?
It is very strange. And we're right next to a Christmas tree farm. Taylor Swift grew up on a Christmas tree farm. So I think maybe there's a sign there that one day I will meet Taylor Swift.
There's a lot of signs pointing there, isn't there?
There really are. So yeah, it's very comfy. We really enjoy it. I've had 3 nights. What day's today?
Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night.
Oh,
4
4
nights.
nights so far.
Yeah, it's 4 nights.
Potentially having one more.
Potentially. It doesn't feel like 4 nights.
It doesn't. Like, it's gone so quickly, and it's just so comfy and cozy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's significantly comfy this time. We've just added one mattress topper, and I didn't realise it was going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
But,
and I think flipping the cushions as well. Like...
Yeah, that bed is bliss.
Yeah.
Easy to fall asleep on. It's absolutely bliss. And just generally, I think we're in this trailer, for the second time. I think we're a bit more used to it. We understand how a couple more things work. So I just think, it feels more spacious this time as well.
It does, and it just feels so livable. Like, we've cooked in it. I made a fry up yesterday morning.
You did. It was
yesterday?
great. I had about 8 sausages. Yeah, it was. It was yesterday. Yeah.
I'm losing track of time. So if you hear background nature noises, that's because we are in a trailer park in Grimsthorpe.
Yes, you might hear pigeons, cows mooing. We've got some big ass cows. We've got some yaks over there. Some have horns, some don't.
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen bulls. I've seen yaks. Yeah, I've seen normal
really?
cows. Yeah, over there there's yaks, and then on the run there's bulls.
For the listener, Scott just did an impression of a bull by making horns on his head.
But they didn't point forward though. They went round.
Oh.
So I don't know what that meant. But if I see a cow with horns, I just go, that's a bull.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I know it's not. I know there's more cows that have horns.
I don't know. Maybe. Do cows have... I feel like maybe some... Highland cows all seem to have horns.
Yeah. I just think of the matadors and that type of bull. I see that as a bull, but maybe there's different types of bulls.
Probably. I don't know. My bull knowledge is pretty low.
Yeah, it's pretty low for me as well.
But the reason that we are here in this beautiful part of the world, because it's very, very nice.
It's stunning. The natures... I've been blown away by the nature.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a deer the other night and rabbits on here, like you've said, bulls, yaks, etc.
Yeah, we've seen deer. That's the third time we've seen a deer since being there, isn't it?
Since being?
Yeah, since being here, third time we've seen one.
What do you mean?
It's the third time
I
since
forgot
we've
about that
seen
one.
a deer,
Yeah, we saw one because there's a fishing pond.
Yeah.
And we saw this tiny deer, and it was walking towards the pond. It saw us, and then it wasn't skittish. It just sort of turned around and walked off. But it thought, they're herbivores, they're not a threat.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Got close enough, sniffed.
Yeah, could tell.
Not a meat eater. Okay, I'll just turn around and walk off. They're not going to shoot me in the back.
No. Yeah, they're really, really cute deers.
Yeah, they are. They're really surprisingly small. On a previous episode, we spoke about deer were a lot smaller than you expect them to be. I think people imagine them to be horse-sized.
Oh, goodness, no.
Or somewhere in that region, but they're really pretty small.
Yeah, they really are.
They're
yeah,
not even German Shepherd size.
I think when they get big, they do. I mean, I've seen some big ones. They get bigger than that, but they're still quite small. They're not like a stag.
No, yeah.
Stags are big. They're scary, like the Canadian ones. They're big, but nowhere near that size. Yeah. And then there's been a crazy amount of bunnies, hasn't there?
Yeah, so
The
many
little
bunnies.
bushy white tails.
Oh, they're so funny when you see the little bums going up and down when they're hopping.
It is quite funny.
Very cute.
Yeah, cute.
But why are we here, Scott?
We're here on another step in my ultra journey to 100.
Yes. So how far did you run this weekend?
70 miles. And I came third.
And you came third.
So I was
That's
amazing. Yeah, I wasn't even trying to get on the podium. For me, my running is just, I enjoy it. I like pushing myself. It's a very individual thing. I don't try to get any trophies or anything. I do enjoy the medal at the end. If there's a runner that tells you they don't, runners love collecting their medals. But I don't, necessarily try and, get 1, 2, 3. I could come last. For me, it's getting over that line.
Yeah.
But that was a nice bonus. Oh wow, that's really cool. So it felt good. It was a good old run.
I'm very, very, very proud of you. It's a ridiculous. And we worked out it's like 112 kilometers for our
112
metric or imperial listeners. I don't know what I don't know which is metric and which is imperial, but
yeah.
For Europeans, it's 112 kilometers, just over.
It's
wild. It's such an incredible distance. And how did it feel compared to? Because the farthest you'd run before was like 53 miles, something like that, was it?
Yeah, 80k. So it was 50, which is 50 miles. But every ultra you do, it's always a few miles over. Mm-hmm. So if you've got an ultra coming up, expect to run an extra 2 or 3 miles. So technically it was like 53, but on the record it's 50. Yeah. So it was basically a 20-mile jump. So I'm very logical. So I've met quite a few people on these ultras now who have jumped from marathons and then straight away done like a 50-mile or a 60-mile. I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just I like to gradually grow up. I think it's better for your body and your mind to understand the different feelings rather than just destroying yourself. And for me, I'm in this for the long game, so I'm not just trying to, pump and don't come in, do the 100 miles and leave, So I want to get my body up and up and up so it's strong enough to sustain it and enjoy it. Because also you see people doing it and, in the last few laps or the last, 20, 30 miles, they're just fucking hating life. Hating every bit of it, don't have the nutrition down, just trying to grind through it and they just want to die. But I want to enjoy it. And I know that sounds insane, but it's hard to explain because if you describe someone who doesn't run as much, doesn't do ultra running, to say the word enjoyment in ultra running, they just wouldn't really say, what the F are you talking about? But you honestly can, if you get your nutrition right and you eat the right stuff at the right time and you do pace yourself well, you don't just try get it done, you pace yourself well, you can still get a good time, but you pace yourself well, you don't have to be dead. There's going to be moments, and it's not easy, and there are tough moments, but there is big parts of it that even later in the race that you can just enjoy, and you can still be like, this is nice. It's not like the last quarter of it, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. It's not like that if you manage yourself well. If you don't, yeah, it sucks.
Well, and so, I mean, you've done. That's your third ultra? No, fourth ultra actually, because you did.
I think maybe fourth. No, I think fourth. 30-miler in Malaysia. In Japan, it was like 40 or something.
You've got 40, yeah.
40 something in Japan, which felt way longer than 40, I must admit. That felt like a really long race. Germany was 50, and then I did a 30 at the start of this year in Durham.
So this is your fifth?
And then I got this one. 1, 2, 3. Is that 5?
Yeah, that's 5.
Okay.
That's wild.
Yes,
yeah,
so 5th ultra. 70 miler, so. Yeah.
How did it feel different to your other ultramarathons?
Well, this is why I like doing it incrementally as well, because when you do long distance running, things appear like, different strains, different aches, different feelings in your body, in your mind, in your heart, every part of your body, they appear. And if they appear in a marathon, or if they appear in, a 10 mile or 15 mile or whatever, it's not fun, but you're like, well, at least I'm going to be done in an hour. So I don't have to deal with this anymore. But in long distance running, if something appears that's new, like an ache in your knee, or you suddenly start getting hot flushes and you're like, I've never had that running long distance, it freaks you out a lot more because you've got 10 hours left.
Yeah, that's got to be overwhelming.
Yeah, so you're a lot more like, shit, I need to deal with this, because if this just gets worse, I don't know what it is. It could put me out quite quickly. So it's a bit. That's something that you really have to be careful with ultra running, and that's so those two things, and there was two things that were different in this ultra that I'd never felt before. So, which is interesting because I thought I'd sort of found all the things, but you do it when you creep up the distance. New things appear, even as training every week. New things appear, and the two things that I'd not experienced before was I started getting hot flushes for like 10 miles, and I didn't know what that was. I hadn't had hot flushes before, and I was worried I'd maybe had too much sugar. I don't think it was the salt, as I hadn't had too much salt at that point, but I had quite a bit of sugar. And also there was the sun was out in full force, but it was all cloudy. So it wasn't in your eyes, but it was there. And I think I had my cap on and everything. I had everything on that I would usually have on, but I just think I didn't really realise how much, like, honestly, direct sunlight, running in that for like 10, 15 plus hours, it is hard. It really makes you feel quite ill. Direct sunlight on you that long, it's just really quite intense on the body. You're just trying to get to every shaded point at all points. It gives you a migraine. It just makes you feel like fucked up. So those hot flushes freaked me out a bit. I was like, oh my god, and they increase and they increase and they increase. And then I called you and I think I told you it, just to like prep you.
Yeah.
So then you started to go on a ChatGPT. I'm like, just have a little look around and see. So then we might, because you got to be, we're like, yeah. I was like, we'll change the nutrition a little bit, decrease something. But when I got to you, I can't remember what I ate or drank, but
Huel and matcha.
no, it was earlier in the race. No, that was a different issue that I was dealing with. It was earlier in the race. It was around, yeah. But cool, you fanned me. I remember that, fanning me, and also putting a bunch of cold water in my cap and everything. And I eventually took my cap off, which really helped, because as much as the cap was reflecting the sun, it was also just making me feel super hot. So taking my cap off really helped. So yeah, a couple of things, and I just cooled down. I was all focused about cooling down. And I was like throwing water on myself, and that really helped. So we dealt with it. Like maybe 4 or 5 miles after I left you, it dissipated. So that was like, okay, cool, dealt with. So that was a new thing. But you have to be able to transition and deal with it. If you just try grind it out, it's dangerous, because you don't know why that might be. If you are taking too much sugar and then you keep popping the sugar at the same rate you've planned, you might end up putting yourself in hospital. So you have to be conscious of the feelings, and you have to not ignore them. Like the smallest of things with my shoes, like in the past, so my right foot, I've got bursitis, so it can flare up if it's tight on the top. And the later you run, the longer you run, your feet swell up. Now, they're not swelling up just because of the heat, but because they're basically just bruising now, because they're just so getting battered so much. So it gets to the point where you have to put, my right shoe has to be quite loose. It's kind of strange feeling. I have to make quite loose. But in the past, I didn't used to change that. And I've absolutely I've put myself out for 6 weeks because it's just penetrated like a massive bruise on the top of it. And it's just messed up my nerves, and it's just completely fucked my foot. So I used to just grind through problems, but now I learned that, and now every time it starts aching, I loosen it a bit more. So that's just an example. Like, once you learn it and you deal with it, it's not a problem anymore. So that, But anyway, the second thing that was different that experience, which was also kind of scary, was on like mile 40, like 2 or 3. I started like, I felt like things in my body were switching off. Like, it was strange. I just felt like my legs, like, sort of just slowing down. It wasn't like aching or my legs was tired. It was just like they were saying, I'm just gonna start to stop. I'm just gonna start, like, without me telling them to stop. It was like, I'm just gonna stop. Like, it's sort of making me feel a bit uncomfortable now, as it was just a bit of an out-body experience. And then the weirdest one was, like, in the last, like, 45 onwards, I was like, my body was falling asleep. It's like, it was like running and then falling asleep for, like half a second. Like, my eyes would shut, my whole body would go down that, and then I'd bounce straight back and go, whoa, what just happened? And I'd still be running, but I'd, like, look around and go, what? Something like, my lights went for a moment then. And it happened a few times, like, what the fuck is happening? And I just think my body was just falling asleep. Like, it was just, my body was already so exhausted. I think it needed more food. Even, I'd had a chili only, 3-4 hours before that. So I had been eating well and all my nutrition, but I was so excited because I knew you were going to be waiting there with a Huel and a big match. I was like, that is exactly what I need right now. I need that so bad right now. So I just like, look, you've only got to run for like another hour and a bit, yeah. I was like, just keep running, like, just because you're going to have that and that will sort you right out. That was actually probably the thing out of the two that worried me more. Because out of the hot flushes, I thought, okay, I should, as long as it's not a nutrient, I can just decrease my nutrition, cool myself down, that's going to go. But with my body shutting down, I was like, oh fuck, am I hitting a wall? Like, if I'm hitting some sort of wall, that's a bit of a problem. This early on, it's not, hugely early on, but, and it was strange because my body, like, I could still go. I wasn't knackered. Like, my body was my body wasn't like, I need to give up. I wasn't that at all. Just something, my body was just like, no, like, it's sleep time. It's like, I don't think I was passing out. Again, I wasn't lightheaded. I don't think I was passing out. I think my body was just exhausted. I don't know what, but that was the scariest. But, after that Huel match, not 5-10 minutes after it, I felt great. I felt significantly better. And then 30 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. So it does. Nutrition is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the first time as well, water. You see, this is why it's great to have a pit crew. With the hot flushes, you are not drinking enough water.
No, really,
and I'm
that's
like,
what it seemed
I'm
like.
drinking. You're like, you're not. And and it's good. Without you, I wouldn't have drank, and I could have ended up, dropping.
Yeah, because like to you, you felt like you were drinking that because you kept sipping it, but your camel pack, like the bladder in the camel pack, wasn't going down much at all. So although you felt like you were drinking a lot, but you like just sipping it, I was like, you need to lug it down it.
Yeah, and that it makes it so important having a pit crew there because your mind gets foggy and you start to skip nutrition because it hurts your stomach, and you still need to adjust nutrition throughout. It doesn't mean you have to stick to the exact plan because that can be dangerous sometimes if you have a bit too much something, but when your body doesn't want it. But you shouldn't be stopping all nutrition for long. You should be eating something every hour. Whether it's even just a health bar.
I'm surprised at how many people don't seem to, whether they eat it out on the run, and that's why I don't see it, but like you stop at the stop point, and you'll eat something that, whereas like people just don't seem to do that.
I don't think some people take it as seriously. I think, and that's what I'm saying. What I said at the start is there'll be some people that will just try grind it. And they're the people that are hating life in the last quarter of it.
Yeah.
And you can see it in their face and their eyes. You haven't been eating properly.
Yeah. Like,
there were 3 lads who, I must say, their energy was infectious. Like, even though they started to struggle, and they were so positive throughout it. But I was chatting to them about nutrition, and I was like, "Guys, you need to get something in you." And like, don't worry, we've got pizza. we've got some big pizzas. Like, Jesus, like, I wouldn't recommend that, but if that's all you got, it's better to eat than not. Yeah. I would rather you eat a full pizza than eat nothing. Is something.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think they took that nutrition as seriously, because towards the end they were fading off, and you're gonna, like, even with eating, that can happen. That's fine. And I saw another guy from Qatar, and he looked a bit dazed and confused. I was a little concerned for him. He was at the aid station eating, but I looked in his eyes, and there was kind of swirling a bit. I looks right at him, and he was like, "Dude, I'm fucked." And I'm like, God. "Oh, you look like you could drop." So I was like trying to encourage him to eat, and like giving him some sweets and that. So you got to look after each other, because, again, when you get to this distance, I'm not trying to say, it's all hard, but people can get seriously hurt.
Well, yeah, I don't think our bodies are naturally designed. Well, maybe, historically, but your general public don't run those kinds of distances. Like, for most people, a marathon is the absolute achievement of a lifetime. For some, running a 10k or running a 5k is the most they could possibly, there's arguments to be made that, it's a psychological barrier, but still, like, what you've done is, like, a ridiculous achievement that the majority of humans will never, ever endure or experience. Like, it wouldn't even be, it'd be like saying I can jump to the moon, it's just not, it's not a physical possibility. So, yeah, you've got to really take everything seriously, and I think exactly what you said, if people underestimate that and they don't hydrate, they don't fuel themselves efficiently, then, I mean, I know that you're in some discomfort in the days after, but you're not like one time at band camp, like when I swam or attempted to swim a 10k, I managed 8k. The next day I was like,
that's where you just didn't stop, wasn't it? Is that the one where you ended up getting pulled out eventually?
Yeah, because they were like, you've been in the pool for too long.
But I love that determination about it.
But yeah, I couldn't finish the 10k in the time allocated. I did take breaks in between, which I'm not the. But anyway, my point being, the day after, I was like, I called in sick to work. I was like, I was out, whereas you're just like, yeah, it's a bit sore that, but like, it's fine otherwise. And today you're like, I think I'll go for a run, like,
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what you're doing. You know to look after your body and take care of yourself, and you're a very seasoned runner. So well done.
11 years.
That's great.
11 plus years, yeah. Yeah, it does ache. It's, don't let my words on my face deceive you. Things do ache, but you just sort of, when you love it and that's part of it, you just embrace it. The aches are okay as long as it's nothing that's a sustained injury, and that I can tell there's nothing. The aches you can get over. The things that are hard to ignore are like rashes and blisters, because like they sting, and if you catch it, like they're a bit harder to ignore. Like on your armpits and in your groin, they're a bit harder to ignore. But the aches, you just sort of you waddle about, and when you get up, you're like, but it, it's all right. Yeah, and that, I mean, after, so yeah, I feel good. I think the recovery's been great. I'm gonna go for a 5k today, just to keep the legs fresh so they don't seize up. But how did you feel when you saw me at the end of the race, and from finishing to all the way to getting to bed?
Well, I mean, that could be a whole other episode, couldn't it? So, like, all along, I was sat by the side of the start-finish line. Is that what you're asking me? Like, what was my experience?
Yeah, I meant the end, but it would be good to hear your experience as well, because you were. I mean, so the time, it was over 16 hours. So,
yeah.
And Shelby's not sleeping. Shelby's working for that entire time and doing things to make sure everything's prepared and ready for when I appear.
Yeah, and we got up at 4 a.m, didn't we? So it's like, but by the end of it, we were awake for almost 24 hours.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wasn't running about. I'm really frustrated because I didn't have my Garmin watch charged. Because normally I like to see how many steps I've done. I always go to Scott, oh, well, I've done 15,000 steps today, or I've done 20,000. You know, like depending on the layout of the course and how I'm having to meet him.
Well, think how I feel. I got all the way to 65 miles and my Garmin watch turned off.
Oh, that's absolutely gutted.
How gutting is that?
I can't believe it doesn't auto-save.
Right, yeah, just auto-save. It's fine if you don't have the final 5, but I'd love to have seen the steps and everything, and, so only the people there will know that I ever did it.
Well.
Because they'll go, when we be ever, is it on your Strava? I go, no, well, you didn't do it then, so don't lie.
Yeah,
like, okay. How about you look on the website and see I've come 3rd place.
Yes.
With official record timing from the RFID tag. Yeah. Grim Reaper, Grimthought, look it up.
Well, what I think's really funny as well is at the start they were like, each lap is 10.15 miles.
Yeah.
If your Strava tells you it's not, it's wrong. We've done this route many times.
Yeah.
This is how far, and I just love that. And they were like,
funny.
Fuck the technology. This is the fact.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so early start, but we managed to go to sleep reasonably early for us regarding you running a marathon or an ultra, because normally we're up until like 3 a.m, packing, discussing, preparing, etc. So we managed to get to sleep at about 11, up at 4. And then in between, so each lap Scott was doing was just over 2 hours, but the first couple of laps you were quicker than that. So like the first time I left you, so after the first, was it 30 miles? Yeah, between.
So you fed me at 30, 50 and 70.
I did, but I think I left because I went to Tesco at some point. I think that was after your first lap. I think I saw you after the first lap.
Yeah.
Or, no, when you set off.
I think we saw each other every lap.
We did, but there was one that I went and I thought, right, I've got time to go to Tesco here. Gotcha. And then I came back, and as I was arriving, because there was like those scanners, RFID scanners, further around the corner before, and they had like this guy announcing it. And, saying, oh, so-and-so's just crossing, like, the 3/4 point or whatever. And then I just heard, oh, Scott Mears is about to arrive. And I was like, shit. Start, like, running. And then they closed the gate that I'd gone through in the morning with you, which was, like, close to the start point. And I had to go right around. Like, it was quite a trek. Like, I'm convinced that I did a Disney day, like, knowing how my legs felt and how far it was.
Yeah. And you did like 2 hours of driving as well.
Yeah, 2 hours of driving. But so I'd been to Tesco, thought I'd had loads of time, but it was less than 2 hours. And then they said that, I was like, crap, got to start running. So then I met you there. And then, I knew that I was going to see him every 2 hours. So sometimes I'd go off and do something like at mile 30, I had to feed you chili.
Chili, yeah.
So after
chili and ginger tea.
Yeah. So after your second lap, I came back to the trailer, which was a 20-minute drive each way. To warm up the chili, put it in a flask and bring it down, and warm the tea. It was like, because it was like 2 hours isn't that long of a time, is it? Really? For me to entertain myself. So like between each one, it didn't seem that long. And then because it was like, okay, I know that is about 5 miles away now, should usually text me when you're like halfway round, or it's probably going to be 20 minutes, so I'll make sure I'm sat there. But, I talked to people, I met dogs. It was good. I Instagrammed.
Yeah, you said Instagram got you through it.
I just got Instagram. Like, normally I'm like, oh my God, it's terrible because it makes you lose hours. But then I was like, great. Perfect, I've only been scrolling 5 minutes and 2 hours has gone. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't know Instagram was that entertaining. I would have probably just cracked on like a Netflix show or something.
Well, I have thought about that. I don't know why I didn't, to be honest. I don't know why. And then I think I was like, see, it feels ridiculous to say that I was tired because you were running.
No, you can do that, babe. You were up for 24 hours, and for 16 of them, you had to constantly think.
Yeah,
I do not deny is not the right word, but I do not exclude how discredit, that'd be better, how much effort that takes as well. Like, you have to mentally, I mean, I tell you the plan before, and you've done a few now, or you've been there for every ultra, and there's a lot of thinking. Yeah.
There is, like, I know it sounds daft, but it is, like, even though it's, like, the same sort of things each time, just, like, making sure those things are all there and ready. And
yeah.
I got these bags all around me, and eventually I ended up just bringing everything out of the car, and it was so heavy, like, my shoulders are...
That was one thing I didn't understand, because I packed everything into 3 bags,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden we had 7.
I have no idea.
And I was like, I came, and I was like, what? Like, it was so funny. Everyone had, like a proper, like, boxes and, like, just in their little tents, had it all laid out and everything. Shelby just had fucking bags everywhere. And she was just in the middle, like, I've got you sorted, don't worry. I've got you sorted, come over, this is in here. But you knew it, and you got it
Most
done.
of the time, but then sometimes I couldn't find the things. But I think it was, like, delirium, like, just from being tired and not being...
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I opened one bag and it were there, and then you'd be like, come on, and then it wasn't there.
Wasn't, yeah.
You know, and it
like
was just
tape.
so bizarre. Yeah, like the tape.
Yeah.
So I ended up buying an extra zinc oxide tape.
You thought in that moment you dealt with it. Because if I didn't get that zinc oxide tape on, these blisters on my shoulders, baby, they would be bad.
Yeah.
They would have been
really
bad.
hurts your teeth when you rip that, so I wouldn't rip it like that in future.
What?
You know, like I was ripping it with my teeth.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, ugh, like it went through, you know, it hurt. Yeah, it's like really sensitive. I don't know if it's the tape on it, but so I wouldn't bite it in future. I'd cut it.
Oh,
but...
I usually do.
So we like to be prepared, don't we? So that's, we've got to have everything there, and then, yes, was thinking on my feet to get you the zinc oxide, but I'm glad that helped.
Significantly.
Good. I think something that I need to do better next time is, and you repeatedly told me to do this, it's on me that I didn't, is plan my own meals. Because I'm so busy, like, thinking, you need this, you need that, like, and I was like, oh, it's fine, whatever, like, I'll find food. Like, I took down a sushi box, and I ended up making myself a crisp sandwich one of the times I came back. But you know what I mean? Like, I think I forget, like, I'm so dramatic, but, like, you know, that it is a physical day for me as well.
It is. Stop. No more discrediting of anything.
Okay.
Well, think of a Disney day, baby, and that's half of what you did. Think of doing a Disney day and not eating.
Yeah.
Like, how horrendous would that be?
Yeah, it would be so hard.
You'd be sick.
You would. I don't know if we've said it in this episode, but we call a Disney day a day when you walk 20,000 steps.
20,000, yeah. But but as well, on top of that, like, if you're in Disney, for us, we've been in a different country, so you're always thinking, like, okay, we've got a time, we've got to get food, you got a time, okay, we want to get to this ride, or that ride's going to be shut soon, oh, we have to think about how we're going to get back, where we're going to go for dinner. So it's like all those thoughts as well, times, whatever it is, 10 with this, because we've got exact amount of nutrients that you have to give me every time, plus on 30-50 in the final, you have to give me extra drinks and food. And you have to change that. You have to adapt all those nutritions if I'm feeling strange. You go, okay, you're low in sugar. Oh no, you need to hydrate more. And on top of that, I might just request random things like, I'm feeling cold. Okay, I need to give you a coat. I can't, I need a woolly hat. Oh, I need to change my shoes. Sometimes, like, on the fly, I want to change. I need some more Vaseline. I need some Nanatai, which is some really good, like, deep heat. So yeah, it's everything that you're applying, plus more that I could just throw at you like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot. So if you're not eating, it's rough.
Yeah. So that's what I need to do better next time is, plan my meals in for the day and how and when I'm going to eat those. But yeah, then when you finished, they gave you an award.
They did.
Coming
third. Very happy with that, yeah.
You got your medal, and they wanted to speak to you a bit, and then we just recorded a little video of you, like, and how you're feeling in the moment and everything. Then coming back, like, I was quite, let's move to the car, let's, eat the food in the car where it's warm, because it was pretty chilly by that time. So we got to the car, you did some stretching, And then when we came back to the trailer, you were like, not delirious, like I don't know what the word would be, but you were like not communicating well. Like, you know, and you're like, I need to lie down. And I was like, please don't get on the bed because
No, I knew that. So,
you are sweaty ass. Like, even like I feel like a bit of a nasty girlfriend, but I was like, please wrap yourself in this blanket and don't get smelly all over my car.
I mean, it's, not showering for 24 hours and running for 16 of them. I in the last couple laps, I could smell me.
Well, see, I couldn't smell you, but you were saying that you stank, and I was like, well, if you get all this all over my car, then the car will just permanently stink.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an easy thing to clean.
Yeah.
Oh, the upholstery. So we wrapped you up in a blanket.
It was a good blanket, though. Yeah.
And then we came back. Scott just started putting on layers. I got you some gloves. You got your jacket on, your hood up, and he just laid flat on the floor in the trailer, with a radiator by your head.
It's serious, honestly. Like that's another thing you have to take serious with it, is staying warm, because when you're running, you can be in a lot less. Like I wear, a sleeveless top, a vest, and that's great for most of it, because you run, you stay warm anyway. But the second you stop, your body goes, like, it suddenly feels all of it. And it's very easy to just ignore that for 20 minutes and just eat. But I don't know what I guess it's hypothermia, but once a shiver gets in you, when you're outside that long, and your body's already vulnerable from just the exhaustion, it's hard to shake that shake. And then if it gets uncontrollable and you're running out on your own, it's fucking dangerous.
Absolutely.
So towards, when it gets especially dark and cold, you have to don't even question it, just put a jacket on. Unless you feel like you're overheating, but put a jacket on and just have it on. Even if you're stopping for 10 minutes, you stay warm. And I just felt like I just couldn't stop shaking. So I was like, you need to I could barely stand.
Yeah.
So I was like, baby, you need to make me warm. Like, you just put things on me, anything. So you're like, just try and find anything. You're throwing blankets on me. You'll make you a tea. Here's my gloves. Or just keep. I'm still cold. Put something else on me. Just keep. As I was saying, just you need to get me warm. And you put a radiator right next to me. And you did everything. And after you'd done it all, like 10 minutes after, I was good. I was like, okay, I'm warm, and that's okay. So I was like, okay, safety done.
Yeah.
Now my body can start to come back around. But from after, so it was probably like 25 minutes after the race, from getting in the car, which is then a 20-minute drive here, to being lying down, that was the worst feeling of the entire since after the race. That was the worst part of it.
Yeah.
That was just, I've never felt that bad after a race. That was horrific. That was, my whole body was just fucked up.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate it. I felt fine. I was just finished my stretch and go, okay, you rough, but you're like, okay, I'm alright. And the second I sat down, it was that warm car. Within about a few minutes, I was like, oh my God, what's happening? I didn't know what to do with myself. I had like a migraine. I felt like I was going to be sick. I felt like I couldn't sit upright. I felt like I couldn't keep my eyes open. I felt like I was hot, but I was cold. And I was like, why is this? Like, there was so many different feelings. Like, it's like, I don't know if I'm ill. I don't know if I'm dying. It was just such a bizarre, overwhelming amount of feelings in my body. And I was like, this is fucked up my head. And you were like, we need shower. I go, I know I need shower, but baby, if I try to, I'm going to be sick. Everyone pass out. I need to just lie down for 20 minutes. And I've just dropped on the floor. I like barely got into the trailer. And I dropped on the floor and I felt so fucked up. But just from lying down, warming up, getting the tea in me, forcing that chili down me, 30 minutes later, I don't feel $1 million, but I'm able to get up, walk around, and be like, I can walk by my, I think you helped me there still, but I can walk. I'm not going to pass out. I'm good. I can do what I need to do now. So again, nutrition, force it down your fucking throat.
Yeah.
Honestly, force it down your fucking throat. In that moment, all my body was saying, don't give me anything. But I was like, I don't care. I'm going to get up on that seat and I'm going to eat that chili, whether I puke it up or not, I'm eating it. Because I know in 10 minutes after that, I'm going to feel better. So I just force it down. I think, that and like getting yourself warm is was so important in that moment. And if we didn't do either of those things, you know, you could have a real emergency on your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. It's scary, scary thought. So you did very well.
So, but none of this happens. None of this happens without my pit crew. The love of my life, Shelby.
It's a team effort.
The love of my life. A team effort. It is a team effort. Maybe we do the relay next time.
Maybe. I'll do 2 miles. You do 68.
Okay. That sounds good. Can you do the final 2?
Yeah.
You know that?
Can do.
Final 2, yeah. No. But what's coming up next, my darling?
Well, it's our segments, isn't it?
It is. And I don't have my intro, but I'll make one right now while Shelby sings the jingle. Strange news, strange news, strange news. Strange news is coming to you right now, around the world, in front of you. This is so shit. That was so shit.
I'm not an improvised jingle.
I've heard of a podcast doing improv. I'm not very good at improvising. Anyway, yours will be much better. Yeah, I'm quite boring. Right. Man wakes up with a ship in his garden.
Oh. Right. Why?
Can you even start to understand how that could happen?
Did he have a ship delivered to him by mistake?
That's a good guess. But no.
Was it high tide?
Maybe. Let me read, because you're going to get it on the third one. So there's going to be some hard names here, but Shelby's going to help me because she's good at Norwegian. Shelby also created a new word the other day, by the way.
Well, it was you trying to type bridesmaids.
I was trying to put bridesmaids in, and I wrote the word
Bridemoud.
Bridemoud, yes.
Which we think sounds like a new Nordic. Maybe it is, like, if you speak any Nordic languages, maybe that is, you know, Finnish, Swedish,
Bridemoud, yeah. ChatGPT knew it as well.
Oh, really?
Okay, so you're going to have to help me with these words. In
Trondheim,
Norway, Johan Helbergs was fast asleep when a 135-meter container ship ran straight into his garden.
Wow.
The ship crashed literally meters away from, good luck with that word.
Trondheimsfjord.
Off
Beineset.
So that was the location. But it literally rammed into his garden. It was like, you know, about 100 meters, if that, like 50 meters from his house. It's funny because this guy seems he sort of keeps to himself, but someone was insistently ringing his doorbell like in the early hours, and he was like, I'm not answering it. And then he said, you know, eventually answered it because he just said they wouldn't stop. And in a grump, he's like, what do you bloody want, in Norwegian? And like, and they're like, have you not looked out your bloody window? And like, just go away. And it was like, look, and there's literally a cargo vessel in his garden.
Wow.
And he was like, oh fuck. Yeah, and there's real photos. If you look online, I mean, I'll quickly show you. There's real photos of this. Look at that.
Wow.
Look how close it comes to his house.
That's wild.
Just
That
like
could have
right.
flattened his ass.
Actually, that's way closer to his house than I thought. That isn't even 100 meters. That's like 20 yards from his house. If that went any further, that would have completely ploughed his house in.
Yeah, or if it had gone to the right a bit, it'd probably...
Yeah.
That'd have probably knocked on his door.
I would have knocked on his door. How close it is actually, that's closer than I remember. Some good points. No injuries or oil spills were reported, which is good. And yes, it was high tide. And there is a police investigation at the moment into, you know, what the hell happened. But so far there's no suspicion of any drugs or alcohol by use of the crew or anything. So maybe it was just a mistake. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they were tied up and fell asleep and they untied itself. I don't know. I don't know if they were at port or not.
Yeah. How bizarre.
Strange one, isn't it?
That is a strange one. I mean, imagine waking up and seeing a ship in your garden.
135-metre cargo ship. Had all the big container... Like, just think of a big container ship with all those multicoloured containers on. It's that, like, 20 yards from his front door.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
So I had a very similar experience in my life.
What?
One day, my brother decided that he was going to buy a boat. Do you know about this boat?
No.
It was like a little fishing boat, basically. I can probably try and find a picture as we speak. But, so one day I think he bought it off eBay, and it just ended up in where the trailer now resides at my house.
Oh, right, yeah.
There was a boat there for like 3 years. It was...
3 years?
Yeah.
Did he use it?
Not once.
Shut up, he didn't use it once?
No, it was going to renovate it, and he just didn't, I guess. Like, it just...
Oh, that surprises me with your brothers. He's quite committed to his project.
I know, well, it ended up being like a bit of a flower bed during lockdown. We ended up like growing stuff in it and putting like plant pots and all this kind of stuff. I'm just trying to find it now. It's just this like blue and it's a really funny video of him and my dad trying to get it in there.
Oh, I bet.
It's a lot smaller than the trailer, but they seem to have some difficulty with it.
What type of boat? Is it a sailboat?
No, like a motorboat. I guess it'd have a motor off the back. And then it'd end up, there's no sail to it. It had like a bit of a thing on the front where...
So has he got a boating licence?
No.
He was going to get... But your brother is very resourceful. I can totally expect him to get a boating licence quite quickly.
Yeah, well, it is the kind of thing that he would do. But it's just so, like...
To give you context, he built his own house.
Yeah, he did.
Just by learning off YouTube. So that gives you an understanding of how capable he is.
I'm wondering, like, what I would... I can't find it, so I've put... Oh, there it is, boating garden. So there is a boat.
Oh, my God.
Just...
sorry for the audio listeners. We'll maybe create a TikTok. But, wow. How old was he there?
Well, it was, like, 2017, something like that. I'm not sure. Yeah.
That's... fair enough. I thought you were just... It was going to be a very small... comparison, but that was actually very similar. Actually,
isn't it?
It was actually very similar.
A boat appearing in my garden.
A boat appeared in your garden,
and
you'd see it right because you look onto the garden, so you'd see it directly straight away. So fair enough. That's you are
so
very similar.
I can empathise with Johan Helberg of Norway.
Norway, yeah.
Great story.
Great story.
So shall I now do my intro?
I'll give you a track and then you just have to say something on it.
Okay.
Boom boom tss, boom boom tss,
good
boom boom
vibes.
tss, boom boom tss,
Feeling good
boom boom
vibes.
tss.
Shelby's good vibes only. That was so good.
Oh, that was
great.
tough for me to do.
It was cringe, but it was great.
It was so cringe.
Well done.
Kiss.
And probably not as cringy as the kiss on the podcast.
No.
So, in good news this week, well, it's kind of bittersweet news.
Okay.
Roland Garros has just started, which is the French
Oh yeah,
Open.
I've seen all the advertising for that.
And Rafael Nadal, also known as the King of Clay, has been honoured by Roland Garros. So, like, they did a whole presentation with him and the top four players. So there's Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Andy Murray. They call them the top four, or the big four. I can't remember. It's either the top four or the big four, but because they just dominated for a period of time. It was one of them that was going to win it. There was no one else. Like they were in the finals, they were in the semis together. You know, it was always those top four, and it was going to be one of them that was going to win each of the Grand Slams. So really impressive. But they all came together in honour of Rafa. It's like the Beatles getting back together. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh, so emotional. And it was just really sweet. So, like, he gave a speech. Nadal gave a speech in Spanish, French, and English. All the crowd were given commemorative T-shirts that said "Merci, Rafa."
Merci, Rafa.
Yeah, and the T-shirts were like the terracotta of the clay. Like I just looked so cool, and it was a star-studded crowd. Like Alcaraz was in there, Iga was in there. Like a load of the current players, and like it was like the next generation of players there to watch him, and it was just so inspirational. And I'm so proud of everything that he's done because he won Roland Garros 14 times. Nobody else has come close to having that level of domination at one event. Like, saying there's the top four and one of them would win. And yet, like, one of them might have won more, like, Djokovic has won a lot at Wimbledon, for example, but none of them have had that level of dominate. Like, Rafa was basically unbeatable on clay.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a given that he, you know, you wouldn't bet against him. Like, it would be insane. Like, so yeah, it's just really, he's always been my favourite player. Of course, I love Murray as well, being representing the Brits and all that. And I love Andy Murray, just generally speaking. As you know, he's a feminist. He's an absolute living legend. He's very funny. But like growing up, Nadal was always my favourite player. And he's retired now, and so I just think it's great that Roland Garros this week have like honoured him and celebrated him and his contribution to the sport in that particular tournament. So that's the good vibes, but melancholic, is it, or bittersweet? I would say, because it's obviously like commemorating the end of his career. But I think there's very exciting things to come. I could see him like coaching Alcaraz. They've got a really good like working relationship. So yeah. I think exciting things are to come in tennis, even though it's like it definitely feels like the end of an era, and that for me is quite an emotional thing, because it feels like it's the end of, like, I feel, even though they're older than me and they're retiring from their sport, I mean they're only in their 30s, you know, but for me it almost feels like this is the next generation. This is like, yeah, it's quite emotional, you know. It's not just in tennis that it's the next generation coming in, and you know, we're seeing
that was that's his generation got you into tennis.
Yeah, exactly.
So it does feel like a new chapter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, it's strange in life, things like that, when TV shows that went on for your entire childhood stop, and you hear of people dying, and it's just it really hits you in a strange way. So I can totally get it. And whilst we didn't see him at the last one, we were officially at his last Roland Garros, weren't we? Last year.
Yeah, we didn't see him play, but
no.
Did he play though?
I'm sure he did. That was his last one. Yeah, that was his last one.
Yeah, did he?
He got knocked out quite early on. He got knocked out. Yeah, because he was training just for that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because he wanted to just win it on his, which I get it, but sadly got knocked out. I think he got like a really rough person.
Yeah.
I think
was it? I think it was Zverev. Actually, thinking about it.
And
he was felt good about kicking him out. Maybe.
I really like Zverev.
Yeah, Zverev. I mean, the tennis players are just great.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a emotional time in tennis, but I feel like it's good news, because it's, you know, showing that he's been celebrated by his sport and colleagues, and that everyone showed up for him, and like he's known as like the nicest man in tennis. Like all the ball boys and girls loved him. You know, he's always so nice in press conferences. He's really polite. You know, he really prides himself on, like, being a good person. You know, not just being a good player, but being a gentleman, being respectful. You know, all these kinds of things, like, are really important to him. So I'm glad that everyone's celebrated him, come together.
It's beautiful. That's a lovely story, baby. It's nice, isn't it?
It's a very sporty episode, this, isn't it?
I guess it is. Yeah. There we go. They need to, because they name all the stadiums after big people, don't they, in France, so there needs to be a Rafa.
I reckon there will be something like...
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Maybe just like one of the outside courts, because, I don't know, Rafa won. So.
Well, because I think they typically name it after people from that country, like, you know, Philippe Chatrier.
Oh, Philippe Chatrier, Cezanne Leng. That's just Lengen. I'm pretty sure it's Lengen.
And what was the third one?
Chatrier is the main stadium, isn't it?
Yeah.
Simon Matthew, yeah.
That's top tip. Go to that court. It's beautiful for one.
Simon Matthew.
And you see some really good matches on there.
It is beautiful.
It's classed as an outside court. So if you get a grounds pass, you don't have like an allocated seat. You just go in and find a seat. And that's how we met Coco Gauff. And
literally met her, didn't you?
Yeah,
literally got an autograph. Yeah.
That's so cool.
That was so cool. Yeah. Simon Matthew. There's a beautiful court. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe, I don't know if they would, because he's Espanol, but
maybe not then, but still, that was a nice honour.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, there we go.
Well, another adventure wrapped up.
But the journey never ends.
Keep your bags packed for the next one. And remember, when in doubt, just say,
Yalla Habibi. See you next time.